Hey team, Desmond Downs is in with me on the Redman's couch. And Desmond, you're a man on a mission.
Yes.
You want to help out one of our homeless community members, Ashley Waters. He's a gentleman a lot of people would have seen around town with his two dogs. He used to frequent quite regularly the Timor Domain. I think in the winter months he's moved on from there. But tell me about your mission and how did you first come across Ashley and what do you want to achieve?
Well, we met him at the dog park a few times. We took our two dogs to the park there, and occasionally we'd chat with him, and we eventually found out he's living in his car. And then once or twice we went to the domain and we'd see him set up there, and we spoke with him a few times about his options, what he can do, and it's quite complicated. It seems that he's on a list waiting for a house, and if he takes on a room or something like that someone offers him, he gets taken off the list. But I think that the problem is being one person, you're at the bottom of the list all the time.
Right.
Because let's say a woman comes along and she's got 3 children and she's going to get into the first house available.
Okay. So is it Kainga Ora housing or is it the old people's housing that council does?
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I haven't looked deep into. I don't worry about the politics and stuff of it. So
Yeah.
I just know that he's had various trials, and I think what hits closest is that you're meeting the guy and you're talking to him. It's not just some car you see in the distance and you wonder what they're doing there.
Mm-hmm.
And you meet with these people, you talk to them, and they're just a regular person,
Yeah.
and they've just hit hard times. And that could be any of us. It hit me deeper about a month or two ago. We met this woman, and she's with her husband for 30 years, thinks she's sorted for the rest of her life, and things fall apart, and next minute she's out in her car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily something someone's done wrong or anything like that. It's just these things can happen to any of us one day.
He hasn't been in town all that long, is that right? Do you know how long? Did he come from Nelson Way?
I'm not sure. We've been here about 3 years.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him for the last 18 months at least,
Okay.
to
Yeah.
about 2 years.
Yeah.
And I just remember him talking about how he froze in his car last winter.
Right.
And here I was thinking, well, by this winter he should have got something.
Okay. I read in the paper today that he's got himself in a steamer, which is a bit bigger than his last car that he had, but he's renting that. Is that right?
No, I got it mixed up. He told me he was paying it off at $200 a fortnight, and I thought that meant he was renting, but he was actually buying it off someone.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
But he says a transmission makes a horrible clunk when he puts his foot down or something like that. So
Okay. It's gonna need
that's
some work.
on its way out, but it's got to be a step up from sitting in your front seat.
Yes.
I mean, every little upgrade can be a major change to someone, from having to sit in a seat in a sleeping bag
Yeah.
to being able to actually lie flat.
Yeah. It's so hard, isn't it, these days? Because there's probably another dozen Ashleys in mid Canterbury, and you know,
You look on, well, someone said to me when I put it up on the notice board, they said, well, why only him? There's so many other people. And I thought, one at a time, and he's the only one I know of. And then
right?
people start mentioning other cars parked around there they say are homeless people.
Yeah.
And it's probably a good thing that he's got these dogs and I bumped into him,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn this person's story.
Yeah.
And you go on YouTube and you look up homelessness, and it brings it up all over the world.
Yes.
And it's not just people who aren't earning an income anymore, people, pensioners and things like that. It's all sorts of people, working people. There was a story, some guy in Auckland, he's a working computer technician, he was talking about sleeping in his car because rents are so expensive.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours a year ago was looking for a place to rent, and he said every place he went to, there were 40 other people applying for it.
Right.
So each one of us has that problem, and it's just there's not enough houses to go around.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So I hope the people on that page, it can turn a bit nasty. I hope they're being kind with their comments.
Well, you get that. It's human nature. I mean, the majority of people saw the benefit in it,
Good.
but then you get someone who said, oh yeah, his two dogs ran for my dog in the park there, and he had his washing outside and everything. And I thought, well, what does homeless mean to you? He had his washing outside. Do you think he's got a laundry somewhere without a house attached to it?
Yeah.
So you get people like that, and it's human nature to straight away think you know better, and well, why don't you rather do this or that, or
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you have start up a give a little page.
yes.
Yep.
I'd never tried it before, and I thought, well, maybe this is a possibility.
Okay.
Because I've got a little Nissan Serena van that I've been doing it for camping, and when I see him in his car, I thought, wow, he could be so much better in my van, but I don't have the money to just give a van away.
Mm-hmm.
And just that change in comfort level from being able to sit in the back, have a bed next to you, have a little table there, and as opposed to sitting behind your steering wheel all day.
Yep.
And it's
So
just,
stage one, I mean, if it went just okay, I think I read in the paper that, you know, if you raised say 10,000, you got this. If it was 15, you got this. If it was 20, so bare minimum, what are you needing to raise, and what does that mean for him vehicle wise?
my Nissan Serena was $5,500,
Okay.
but that's without any camping stuff in it.
Right.
You go and look on Marketplace, and you look on campervan, starting from about $3,500, you could get an Estima with a little kitchen thing at the back,
Okay.
which is a major leap from living in your car.
Okay.
Then the step above that is something like a Nissan Serena that you can sit in,
Mm-hmm.
$6,500, $7,000 with a little bit of camping gear in it.
Okay.
And then you get a van for about $12,000, something you can actually stand up in. And that might not sound like a big deal, but it sort of hit home with me last night. I suffer from a bit of acid reflux. 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I thought, I've got to walk around for an hour. Now imagine sleeping in the front seat of your car, and it's raining outside in winter, and that happens. You can't just stay there.
Yeah.
You've got to get up and stand around and walk around for a bit. Imagine being in a camper van where you can stand up.
Yeah.
That's 20 times better than what he's got now.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine some of these camper vans for $30,000, $40,000. It's got a bed at the top there, and a table, and a kitchen, and a cupboard, and toilet, and a shower there. You know, we don't have to give everyone a $700,000 house. That's just not practical. There's not even houses enough for people who want to rent them.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could get each person like that and put them in some sort of a camper van, imagine how much it's going to improve their lives.
Yeah.
And before, like I said, I didn't have the money to just go and give someone a van. But then when I saw this Give a Little, I thought, well, maybe here's an avenue where we can draw people's attention to those that need help.
Yep.
And say, find someone, adopt them, find out their story, make sure where the money's going to go to, and then open up a Give a Little page for them. You don't have to give anything. You just have to activate it, get their story out there, and people can help them.
It's trucking along pretty good.
Initially, I put it on Ashburton notice board and at $1,000 on the first day.
Yep.
And then it slowed down. Then I've got another group that I started. I got interested in tiny homes. So I thought, let me find out what it's like out there. And I started this group called Tiny Home Land Share, where people with land can offer a spot and people with tiny homes can find a spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see how it's going there. And I put it on there as well. And I said, look, I don't normally spam my own groups, but this is sort of related to tiny home living. And it went up again.
Right.
So it's about how much advertising you can do and sort of networking. Everything's about networking these days. Maybe on their website they might promote it a bit to the top.
Yep.
Thing about Give a Little, they're all about their 5% commission and which page is going to earn them the most commission.
Right.
It's I even thought, well, could someone, a bank or someone like that, start a website where people can donate money where they not maybe take 1%,
Yeah.
help your admin costs, but 1% let the money go to the people that need it.
Yeah.
Don't make it all about making money out of charity to other people.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think that's a frustration for a lot of people using it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, well, we'll do our best to boost it up, and we'll chuck it down in the comments. So head down there and have a look for the link to the Give a Little page. Hopefully that gives a nice little boost. Whereabouts is it sitting roughly figures-wise at the moment, do you know?
It was about $1,900,
Nice.
$1,925 or something like that.
Okay, good. That's
Still
good.
better than nothing.
Yeah, it's a start for
Some
sure.
people say, I'm sorry, this is all I got, and they give $5. And I think, well, imagine if 2,000 people each gave $5.
Yep, that's all
It's
good.
not as if your $5 isn't going to help. If enough people put it in, well, that's $50,000.
One final question, it'd be remiss of me not to ask. Where are we going to put him in his new vehicle?
Well, that's the thing about that I've thought about too. Where he already is. It's not like we have a place to put it. All of this would relate to different councils and different areas. Where will we put these people? And that's the complication. But we're taking someone sleeping in a place with 4 wheels, and we're putting another 4 wheels there.
Mm-hmm.
Same size footprint and everything like that. Like someone mentioned, they could maybe get a cheap gym membership, off-time gym membership, and go and have showers and stuff like that.
Yep.
New Zealand's set up with public toilets and things like that all over. We're set up for tourists. One of the aspects I've thought of this, of trying to solve this worldwide problem, is that some people, to get away from a mortgage, are going tiny homes. Some people actually going to van life.
Yeah.
So the people that actively choose to live in a van,
Yes.
and they're having a wonderful lifestyle. When I retire, I want to get a camper van and tour the country.
Mm-hmm.
So here we've got these people who could be in this situation, which is a huge step up from what they've got, and there's no extra footprint on the infrastructure. They're already sleeping in a car. The rest of it, they're fairly self-contained and independent, as opposed to all the problems you have if you put people in big housing and put a bunch of people together. Now this person gets a job, you want to boot them out, and they say, no, I'm not leaving. Or you think of saying, well, could we get a big room and put a whole bunch of people in there? And imagine putting 10 different guys in a room and one snoring and they're all arguing with each other all the time. Give them the independence in a van.
Yep.
And you're forcing van life on someone, but that's a lifestyle that some people choose because it's a good life.
Yep.
And they've got less heating bills to pay. You put them in a four-bedroom house, it's going to cost them an extra $200 in winter for heating.
Yeah.
Put them in a camper van, doesn't take much to heat that up.
No. Good man. Thank you for your time. I hope it goes well.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope Ashley appreciates what you're doing. I'm sure he does.
I'm pretty sure he does. One thing I was going to say is that, you want to make sure that if you're going to give something to someone, they're going to use it
Yeah.
for what you're giving it to them for. And you see some people out there, some of these stories on homelessness, and guys standing folded over because he's on drugs.
Yeah.
You don't want to give something to the guy like that who's going to sell it and buy drugs with it.
Yeah.
There was an old African guy in South Africa who scooted around the sidewalks on his skateboard with paralyzed legs, and several times well-meaning people went out and bought him a wheelchair. He'd sell it and buy smoke and drinks. And after that, I thought, well, I don't want to buy him a wheelchair because I know what's going to happen with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I met Ash and chatted with him, he's got his 2 dogs. He doesn't want to part with them. And one thing they said, you can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. So you look for these clues of, is this guy genuine? He was telling me he was trying to get a $4,500 withdrawal from the bank so he could buy this camper van, got a kitchen, and you know where the money's going to go if you give it to him. You can't just go up to a random person and say, hey, here's a camper van. You've got to find out their background and think, is it going to go to them? Because we don't want to waste it on someone who's going to trash the thing and sell it for drugs when it could go to someone who actually needs it.
Great way to finish, and I'm sure that will reassure a lot of people. Awesome. Good luck.
Thank you.